What's going on, guys? It's Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2016 career mode here for the 2018 season. We are here for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and if you guys did miss the last episode at Belgium earlier today, then I do urge you to go check it out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. Double career mode today, special day for us, and something that I've never actually done on the channel before. This is the first time doing two career mode episodes on the same day, but don't worry about it, that's going to change very soon with F1 2017, so that's going to become a regular feature on the channel. But as you can see, we're currently in Monza, Ferrari's home track, their backyard, and based off of the last race, but the upgrades came in, Ferrari have looked very promising around here. Also, we look pretty good. I'm quite confident with the car, actually. I think we can actually get something out this weekend because the upgrades are working around here quite nicely also. But we're currently in qualifying on the soft compound tyre, as per usual, getting a feeler for the track on the S3E11 compound, and then eventually we will move over to the softer compounds. And moving on to our second one in qualifying, and as you can see, we switched over to the super soft compound tyre this time round, and this time is going to be a bit more of a competitive lap time. However, we do get a bit of a sketchy exit out of Parabolica, and also for some reason at the start of the lap I had the engine in lean mix mode, so basically I didn't maximise the straight line speed on the pit straight, so you'll see that gain in the next run now as we skip onto the main run and the fastest run of the session, the third and final lap here in qualifying. So here we go, running it up to the line, waiting for the DRS to become available in 8th gear. As you can see, the delta time absolutely shooting up there as we recover from the lean mix period from the last run. But here we go, spotting the 150/100 meter board for turn 1 here, just before the 100 meter, second gear corner, try and pick up the apex, avoid the the orange sausages on the inside. They're very, very dangerous as we now pick up some nice clean traction out of the Variante, the Retofilio, as we now go through Curva Grande, turn 3 here at Monza, and now we get ready for the Variante of I forgot the name. I know it's Variante something, but here we go into turns 4 and 5. Our left-right chicane. You've got to be very careful over the curbs here, and critical to get clean traction on the exit as we now go into Lesmo 1 in 4th gear. I missed my apex slightly, which doesn't help, and I've got to try and recover by putting the power on nice and early as we now go into Lesmo number 2, squirting the power on an exit, open up the DRS right about now, and so far it's not too bad. We lost a little bit of time. It was purple in the first sector, so we've lost a couple of tenths, but we're still up on our personal best as we now come into Ascari here. 4th gear on the entry. I cut it ever so slightly, short shift into 5th, and then short shift to 6th on the exit. Try and use all the track available, and then basically push the car down all the way down to the Parabolica. The final corner here, spot at the 100 meter board, maybe even the 50 if you really want to try and go for it. I go for the 50, down at 5th gear, try and pick up the apex. I keep it in 5th gear. You can use 4th if you want to. A much better race than last time. I still lost the back end, but it actually helped me get a much more tighter line towards the finish line, and that lap would actually be good enough to get us P5 on the grid, and a very good qualifying result here in Monza, and one that I was very, very proud with, and a very good result, similar to Spa, outperforming the car and qualifying in quite a surprising position there. So just like in Spa last time out, getting a pretty good position in the mid pack there in P5. So overall, not too bad. Managed to out-qualify our teammate Fernando Alonso quite substantially there. And overall, it's a very interesting looking grid with a good Ferrari and Mercedes mix there. Those four guys very, very close for pace. So hopefully we can try and maybe upset the party for them. But anyway, we're now going to jump into the race for the Italian Grand Prix. Right, so here we are then at race day 4 Monza, and it's wet conditions here, and not the best scenario for us, so we're going to be struggling in this race to really get to grips with it. Compared to qualifying, while the track was so quick, now we're going to be in the full wet conditions, and according to the weather forecast, it's expected to dry up as the race goes on, so this should be the worst of the wet conditions. So hopefully it's not too bad, and we actually excel in these conditions. Last time in Spa, we were disappointingly slow in these, so I'm not really too sure I should be happy or just a bit frustrated that the conditions are like this, but either way, it's going to hopefully limit the amount of slipstream people can get around here, so it's going to give me a chance to try and actually make some moves and make them stick on people. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this race pans out. Let's hope we can try and go for the best and see what happens. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the race for the Italian Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. 5 red lights. I've got Bottas on my right hand side. It's Monza. Let's have a good start here. Lights out and away we go. Pretty good launch. Vettel's had an absolute shocker off the line. Ricciardo's off to a good start. Bottas getting boxed in. I've had a pretty good start myself here. I'm going to get boxed in though. We've got the Red Bull of Verstappen making the move up the inside here. I'm going to have to get on the brakes and back out of that for now. As we go into the chicane for the first time this race, got to be very careful. We're literally going 30 kilometers an hour. It's so slow. Right, let's get a good exit speed here. I've had a good exit. I'm boxed in slightly, trying to make my way to the inside line. I've got the Williams of Massa behind us, the company here, but currently behind Verstappen. Ricciardo and Bottas has had a pretty good start. Valtteri there really getting up the order quite nicely, but here we go, pulling to the inside on Verstappen and also up the inside of Ricciardo. I'm going to lock up the left front a bit, but I'm going to send Ricciardo wide, and there we go, I'm up into 4th place and Bottas is up ahead. Lewis Hamilton leads the way with Sebastian Vettel in P2, so a very tasty opening lap here. The conditions are absolutely horrible, torrential rain here at Monza, and we have to be very careful that we don't lose the back end on the car, and hopefully it all goes well for us here. So let's try and get a head down now and concentrate a little bit and try and catch the guys up ahead and see if the upgrades have worked from the last race, and see if we actually got the pace to keep up with these guys. Oh, Bottas has had a poor run through the chicane. Vettel was battling with Bottas there, and that's going to compromise Valtteri severely. I'm around the back of him. I almost went straight into the back of him and lost my front wing. Meanwhile, behind there has been a yellow flag, so something has happened behind us. I'm going to pull to the inside in case there's a safety car or a VSC, because Bottas will probably brake check me, so just avoiding staying right behind Bottas in case something gets triggered. But here we go through the Parabolica now, and I do fancy a move on Bottas here. I've got some pretty okay pace, and I think I can match the AI. This will confirm it for us. The first lap time, I'm only 8/10 off of Lewis Hamilton there, and I had to get massively out the throttle for Ascari. So here we go, look at the straight line speed we got on Valtteri Bottas here as we make the move up the inside. Bottas is going to try and match me in the brakes. I'm going to take the inside line at turn 1, and there we go, we're up into 3rd place, getting past our championship rival, and that is a big move for us, and a massive overtake. So we now move up to 3rd place. Now let's try and chase down Sebastian and Lewis Hamilton. Fastest lap of the race, responding to Vettel and Lewis's pace, so it looks like we're going to bunch up here up the shop end, the 36.0, really good pace here. Right, on to lap number 5. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. He's going to react to me now and re-overtake me. I'm going to squeeze him to the inside a little bit, but here we go, a drag race, 150 meter board. Who's the bravest on the brakes? I'm going to go around the outside. Can I pull it off? Bottas is still there. I've tapped him slightly, got an end plate damage. I think he scrubbed out very wide on the apex there, but I've held on to the position and I'm back up into 3rd place, but that's a little bit of front wing damage I'm going to have to get fixed in the pit stops now. Right now the track is starting to dry up a little bit, by the way. The rain is definitely reducing in terms of quantity. There could be an incident within the next 2-3 laps. Oh, Nico Hulkenberg is out of the Italian Grand Prix, so he's had an incident. Meanwhile, I'm having trouble on my own here, trying to navigate Ascari, and we've got a VSC deployed, so there we go, a virtual safety car because of the issue, so that's not too bad. We're just going to keep on at a constant pace, but it's a shame the track's not dry enough to go into inters just yet, but either way, we're just going to see out this VSC period, and once we get racing again, obviously we're going to have to wait for the timing and try and time it perfectly onto intermediates. So I'm very bad at timing it from full wets to inters and inters to full wets, vice versa, so this is going to be an interesting one for me, but let's see how this one unfolds. Right, here comes Bottas. He's going to go to the inside. I'm thinking of switching onto inters. I'm thinking of taking the risk. I'm going around the outside of Parabolica there on Valtteri. Oh, do I pit in for inters? I'm really not sure. I think I'm going to stay out for one more lap. I'm just really not sure at the moment, but Valtteri's on my inside anyway, so I couldn't really pit in, but I'm going to pit in this up for intermediates. I think the track has definitely dried up a bit. The rain is now barely coming down, so here we go. I'm going to try to look at the inside. Valtteri, they're going very defensive, covering the inside quite nicely. I'm going to go very hot into the chicane here, and I'm going to have to go straight on. Let's hope I get this right, and hopefully the game doesn't penalise me for it, but I'm going to have to cut through these bollards here, these boards. Right, get back up to speed. No penalty there, and we're going to rejoin just ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. So we've lost a lot of time there, and now Mick Schumacher is out of the Italian Grand Prix, so another retirement now, and the car's dropping out flyers here this race. Here comes Ricciardo. He's looking very nippy here, but not quick enough to make a dive. Right, oh, get the nose in. Right, this is the lap for inters. There we go, we'll just confirm that on the radio. So we're going to come in this lap for intermediate tyres, and I think Bottas and Ricciardo will probably end up staying out because they've got a second choice, whereas I'm going to come in. So I've also got a front wing change. That's not going to be ideal, but we'll see how it unfolds. Meanwhile, Ricciardo does fancy his chances. I can see he's just there. He's looking at me. He wants to make the move, and here he comes. He's very fast. The Ferrari engine upgrade is absolutely massive, and the Ferrari is a rocket ship in a straight line. And there you go. Ricciardo makes the move. Oh no! Why have you cut back across my path? Oh, that could have been really scary there. I could have lost my entire front wing. I don't know why the AI decided to come back in my path and brake really hard. But either way, we're down to P5 now, and the car all of a sudden feels really poor in these conditions. I don't know what it is, but I've lost a lot of time and a lot of pace. So let's just come in now this lap. I'm going to try and negotiate the Parabolica here, and then just pit in. We're going to follow Ricciardo in, presumably. I'm not really sure. Will he follow Vettel in? No, he stays out. Right, Bottas also stays out, so let's get it also down to 80 here. There we go, nice pit entry, nice and easy. And there they go, Vettel and Hamilton serving their respective pit stops. I'm going to come in for my first stop of the race. Lance Stroll behind me, so he's not going to hold me up, so it's going to be a fairly comfortable and simple pit stop. I mean, I'm probably going to re-jump behind Stroll because I've got the front wing change. That's going to be the issue. So let's see how long this front wing change takes. Let's have a look. We've got a yellow flag on the pit straight, so something's happened. I think we've had a huge crash on the pit straight here. Esteban Ocon out of the race. I think Alonso's involved in the accident. But here we go, rejoining the race now, just ahead of the yellow flags. Let's try and get up to speed here. I want to try and get Lance Stroll, overtake Lance Stroll ASAP. He's going to be very slow coming out of pit lane here, so I want to try and pass him straight away as I get all locked up and crossed up into the first corner. Here's Lance Stroll. Let's try and get some good traction out of here. Stay right on his rear end and maybe line him up for a pass here. Good acceleration out the corner. Can we match the Williams now in a straight line? This is my question. Have the upgrades worked? I'm picking up the toe on Lance Stroll here. He's very fast in a straight line. I've got to say the Williams is a very fast car. Right. So I don't think we're quick enough to get him on the straight. I had my chance there. I was accelerating quite nicely out of the chicane, as I'll probably accelerate quite nicely again here as I've done. Right, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. Dive, there we go. Bit of a reckless dive. Magnussen is now out of the race. The cars are dropping like flies this race. Left, right and centre. Here goes Stroll. He's got my inside. I'm going to cut back underneath him. It's not the most effective switchback you'd ever see, but it does the job. Right, I'm going to get into the toe of Stroll now. This is really frustrating me now because he's so fast in a straight line. We've got Alonso behind us who is yet to go into inters. Meanwhile, Stroll still making this a nuisance for me. So let's try and get a nice run through here and try and follow him through. Nice bit of exit speed out of Ascari there. Right, I'm not going to pass Stroll unless I crank up to rich mix. And I'm actually in lead, I've just realised. I don't know how that's happened. So that explains why I have such a big straight line speed deficit. So now we're in rich mix. This should be a different story. So here we go. Through the Parabolica. Let's pick up the speed. We've got yellow flags still on the pit straight, so I can't overtake just yet. From the crash on the last lap, people are still recovering, which isn't ideal. But here we go, picking up the slipstream now on Lance Stroll in rich mix. Wow, Stroll is just so quick. Oh my god. Right, you know what? Ricciardo dive, because why not? Get the apex. Job done. Right, that's what you got to do sometimes. Stroll is way too fast in a straight line. I mean, way too fast. So we had to get past him that way. Now I've got to try and just break away from him a little bit, not let him be in my slipstream. Right, fastest man on the circuit. They're even faster than Lewis Hamilton. So I've got the pace in these tyres, even in standard mix. So let's try and push on here and try and catch Ricciardo. Another fast lap of the race. I'm really pushing hard at the moment. Inside 4 seconds now to Ricciardo. Slowly catching him, but his pace is also bloody good here at Monza. Okay, so small little sit rep. The rain has pretty much stopped now at the circuit. So we're running on a drying track. So at any point now, I think the next 3 laps will be on dry. So I'm going onto the soft tyres. I'm going to try and take them to the end. So a very simple 1-stop, inverted commas, 2-stop, 1-stop dry tyre strategy, but 2-stop in terms of the whole race strategy. So full wets to inters to softs. And that'll be the strategy for today. I've got loads of fuel saved up. I've got just over a lap, so that should be enough to deploy once we're in the dry conditions on the soft tyres. But I'm catching Ricciardo at the moment. The gap has sort of stabilised a bit around 1.8, but I do feel like I'm going to catch him very soon. And if not, I'm going to try and undercut him in the pit stop. So either way, I'm going to get him. And then Bottas is the man ahead of him who I need to finish ahead of. So let's try and hunt these 2 guys down. Right then, the inters feel absolutely horrible as I come through the Parabolica. I'm coming in for dries, and I think everybody else is. I think Bottas and Ricciardo may start one more lap on inters, which I think is what they're doing. Meanwhile, I'm not taking that sort of risk. I'm just coming in. I'm going to switch over to what I know is quickest, and there we go, really pushing the speed limit there, just about getting it on 80 as we hit the line. But right, let's see now. We need to go onto the softs. We're going to the end on this compound, so we need to be nice and quick and aggressive. But just notice Hamilton and Vettel have gone on to another set of intermediates. I'm going on dries here, so very different strategies here. Lance Stroll was in. I think he's going on to inters as well. So are the AI coming in for another set of intermediates when the track is about to go dry? That's very interesting. Here comes Felipe Massa. The track is definitely very moist still, but surely at this point you'd be thinking like dries are the way to go, not inters. I've probably pit a bit too early, to be fair, for the dry tyres. The track is still very wet, but I'd rather be on these tyres than another set of inters. Right, I think I've probably gone on these a bit too early, but I've done it now. I've taken the plunge. Ricciardo and Bottas have come in and come out on another set of inters. So as long as I'm ahead of Bottas by the end of the race, that's all I care about. So let's just focus on these tyres. I've still got some okay pace on these, and I think I can get these to the end. So let's just focus. I think the track's pretty much on the crossover anyway, so yeah, we'll be coming for dries very soon. So let's just focus, get our head down, and use these tyres smartly. Right, DRS is now enabled. Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton coming to the pit lane, and I'm guessing Ricciardo and Bottas are going to follow suit. If they step one more lap, it's going to be suicide, especially for Bottas. But I think they are staying out for one more lap, so fair play to them. Actually, no, I think they're both coming in. Yeah, okay, I think they're both coming for the pit stop. I think logic has prevailed, but now the dry tyre is the tyre you want to be on. And I'm using Rich Mix now. I'm going to take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. If not, no wait, I'm in second place. Bottas has stayed out. He's the only man to stay out. Ricciardo actually pit, so Bottas is throwing the championship away here by not coming in for dries. Vettel's behind me on mediums. I'm on softs. I'm in Rich Mix, and now it's time to push. We've got 7 laps to go, and I'm going to try and win this race, which was not something I thought I'd be saying 2 races ago. Okay, so now Bottas pits and he gets off those inters. Meanwhile, I'm saying purple sectors. Vettel's probably going to be faster than me, as will also be Lewis Hamilton. I'm a bit concerned about my rear tyres, which I don't know if they'll make it or not, but either way, I'm just going to do what I can in this remaining laps of the Grand Prix. I'm in the lead right now, so let's just try and hold to the position, set some good laps in the drying track, and then see if Vettel does catch us or not. At the moment, the task is very simple. I've just got to try and keep Seb out of my DRS, so keep him outside of a second. He's getting about 0.3 a sector, give or take. He's taking half a second at me there on the final sector, so I need to get my foot down here, but these 2 guys behind me are really bloody quick. For the final corner, I'm now out of Rich Mix, so I'm running in standard now for the rest of the race, and Vettel and Hamilton are catching. I think they're still outside of a second, as I set the fast lap of the race, but I feel like those 2 are going to respond. They're about a second faster than me. Lewis is a second and a half faster than me. Lewis is the man on the mission right now, and I think Lewis and Vettel are about to get a little bit of a scrap, so hopefully those 2 battle out on track. That's going to give me the chance to stay ahead for a little while as they're going side by side through turns 1 and 2 right now. This is giving me the chance to get away from these 2 and stay ahead for a little while longer, but Hamilton has made the move on Vettel, but you have to wonder, Vettel will probably respond to him. Right then, we're in the lines then. Here we are, Vettel and Hamilton in my DRS. Here we go. This is going to get very tense now, and it's going to blow these last couple of laps wide open for us, so let's have a little bit of fun. Let's get the elbows out, and like I said, I just want to finish ahead of Bottas, but if I can get any more than that, that's fantastic. So here we go then. Here comes Sebastian Vettel, DRS wide open. Here comes Lewis Hamilton, also DRS wide open. He's going to pull to the inside. Let's see if I can match Vettel on the brakes into turn 1 here. Have I got enough tyres? Yes, I do. Side by side with Seb. A little bit of wall banging going on. Get the traction on. Squeeze him out. And there we go. Holding on to first place like an absolute champion. And even though I've got no Rich Mix, this car isn't as underpowered as it used to be. I can fight with the best of them around here, even though I haven't got the most horsepower out of all the power units available to us. So here we go. We hold on for now as we get it all crossed up into the chicane here. But I think we're going to be okay now. The question is, can we survive the back straight, which is going to be the next one. Here comes Seb once again to the outside this time. Lewis is looking very quick with the DRS. He's going to pull to the inside on me, and he's going to make the move. I'm going to let these 2 go. I'm going to just try and follow them basically, and be clever about this. So if I can just sit in their slipstream, pick up the DRS, I can maybe re-overtake them. I mean, look at them. They must be in Rich Mix. Look at the speed they've got. They're literally pulling away from me in a straight line. That is absolutely that is incredible. Right. Hopefully I haven't lost DRS. I think I'm still within a second, but these 2 have got some incredible pace. So here we go, out the final corner. Now let's wait for the DRS to become available, and I'm going to try and pick up a mega toe as we come across the line. So here we go, sitting in slipstream with Lewis Hamilton. Only a 10th off my PB, but it just goes to show you how quick these 2 guys are. I've got a huge toe. Lewis Hamilton going up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. I'm going to try and be clever about this. I haven't got the pace to match these guys right now, so I've got to be clever with my overtakes. So Hamilton takes the lead here. I'm right behind Sebastian. Look at the acceleration though from these 2, especially the Ferrari. I mean, look at it go. I'm just going to sit in the slipstream, and if these 2 trip each other up, I'm going to be there to try and pick up the scraps. So Vettel getting a great run on Lewis here. I'm just going to sit behind him on the brakes. Purple first sector from me into the chicane. Let's try and navigate this. I'm going to make the move when they least expect it. Right, there we go. They're both going side by side into Parabolica. This is the chance I was on about, so let them go side by side through here. A little bit of contact, a little bit of smoke. This is going to allow me to be much closer than last lap. Here we go then. Vettel and Hamilton getting pushed to the inside. Lewis right on the inside line. Fast lap of the race for me here. We're going to go 3 wide across the line onto lap 26. And look at this. I've retaken first place. Very intelligent racing here. Now can I get it slowed down for turn 1? I'm going to be very hot on the brakes, but I've made it work. Just bring the nose back in for turn 2. Squirt the power on. And there we go. We're back into first place. Very intelligent driving there. I haven't got the pace to match these guys. And when they run it in Rich Mix, then I'm definitely in trouble. But for now, I'm holding on. Lewis isn't committing to a move by the look of it, so I'm going to hold on to first place here. I've had a very poor run through the Lesma. I'm going to let Lewis have the inside line, and hopefully Vettel follows suit. So here he comes, Sebastian Vettel. He's got a huge amount of straight line speed and slipstream here. I'm going to just let him take the inside line. I'm not going to waste any time. I've got to be intelligent with my battling here, so I've got to let Seb and Hamilton do their thing. Now I've got to pick up the scraps. So right now, my tyres are starting to go a little bit, especially my rears. My rears are starting to scream a little bit. For fuel wise, I can run it in rich if I need to on this last lap a little bit. I can't do the whole lap, but I can do part of the lap. So for example, this sort of area now on the last lap of the race, if I can run it in rich, that'd be critical for me, especially from in first place to try and defend. So here we go then, onto the pit straight, onto the last lap of the race. Vettel is going to look for the move on Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to just use the DRS here to try and keep up with these two guys and let them two battle out. Lewis Hamilton giving Vettel a good old squeeze there into turn 1. We're coming out to lap traffic in the form of Danny Kvyat. Here we go then, I'm going to try and set up Lewis for a move, or at least just try and stick with him. Kvyat's going to really throw a spanner in the works here for this last lap in terms of traffic. Come on Lewis, please catch Vettel up. Use the slipstream, get close to him, and let's try and make a move here. Right, this is going to be a very interesting final lap as we get it all slowed down for the chicane. Let's make sure we don't hit that steam policeman on the inside. Alright, Vettel's going to have to DRS off of Kvyat, I think, unless Kvyat gets out of the way earlier, which is not going to be good. Here we go then, through the first Lesmo. Seb is going to have to DRS off of Kvyat. That is not ideal. Right, okay, let's try and just keep up with these guys. Right now I'm looking at, I'm just, all I can see is P3 on the podium, to be honest, but here we go. Lewis now making it past Kvyat. I'm going to try and get past Kvyat, also picking up a huge toe. Kvyat just pulled to the inside, mate. Please don't put me off. Oh, that's going to be a corner cut and a half, that is. Right, doesn't matter. I don't think I'm getting anything out of this race. I'm too far back. Vettel's timed it to absolute perfection, and I think he's going to take it. Meanwhile, Ricciardo is in P4, so that's critical because it means Bottas isn't going to be doing damage limitation and be the next man up the road from me. So here we go, through the final corner on the last lap. Sebastian Vettel is going to win it for the Tifosi and Maranello and all the Italian fans and Ferrari fans around the world at Monza in their home race. Lewis Hamilton gives him a good old run to second place, and I come home in a very unexpected and well-deserved third place. I'm very happy with that, and I'll take those 15 points very, very happily. So overall, a very good race here, and we're now going to look at the final race results, drivers and constructors standings. Right, and there we have it. Looking at the race results, you can see that Lewis Hamilton comes only second to Sebastian Vettel, who manages to win it for the Scuderia there. So a very impressive result there from Sebastian Vettel. Myself in P3 running off the podium, with Daniel Ricciardo and the other Ferrari in P4, and Valtteri Bottas down in P5. So very interesting there. Also Carlos Sainz, my other title rival, down in P8, with Alonso just missing out on points in P11. So that's looking pretty good for us in the championship, which we'll see right now. As you can see, 35 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and it's looking really, really good, man. I'm still very shocked at what we're doing in the Audi car, and I'm just slowly edging further away and slowly edging closer towards that possible 50-point mark, which would guarantee me obviously a double race win. So if I can obviously get the 50-point mark in the next couple of races, it means that I could win the championship early. So that would be absolutely fantastic, and would be really good for me in terms of obviously video making if I could win it early. So I'm going to try my hardest to make that happen. But looking at the constructors finally, you can see that Audi have dropped behind a little bit, and they're still 44 points behind Mercedes, still in second place, but the gap's a bit larger now. Ferrari have overtaken Red Bull now for third place. Ferrari really resurgent in their form lately, and they could be one to watch out for in the constructors later on in the season. But nevertheless, guys, if you have enjoyed the video, then a big thumbs up on the video would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you can subscribe to my channel for future F1 content, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Also, if you haven't missed any of the videos on screen right now, then I do urge you to go check them out if you haven't done so already. But I thank you guys ever so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.